Good morning, hi all. It's really a pleasure to start, not only start this third day of the Mobile Congress, 4 years from now, this special year where we are merging these two events, so innovation and innovative news in the industry and technologies. So we are hosting a new panel about a sector, perhaps it's the biggest industry in the world with nearly 7 billion customers. So I think with 7 billion customers, the whole population, we are talking about food. Food is perhaps one of the biggest sectors and one of the sectors that are digitizing the more opportunities to be more efficient, more competitive. And today, to have this conversation in Mobile World Capital stand, we have two big rock stars on this arena. Very close to me, we have one of the person that has spending a lot of years managing or being part of one company that's Spanish Catalan company that is serving all the world around food. It's called Buy Companies, okay, with nearly a 3 billion turnover a year. 3 billion in 3 years. It's fantastic. It's a company that is Catalan and Spanish that is serving worldwide. And today, Santi, I'm going to introduce in a while himself because it's fantastic that you know each other, what they are working on. But today, they want to share with us that beyond the food, beyond nutrition, the sector, there's something that's called circular food. It's new types of food. What if in the future we could print the food? This is something in a while we'll discuss about it. And close to me, this is the other angle. This is the angle of the market, the industry. This is the angle of investors. No? Investors that they have spent a lot of years doing very interesting things around that. So thanks a lot for joining Santi and José Luis with me this panel today. So, okay, before going ahead, starting the conversation, would you mind if I introduce yourself? Because I know you. Okay, you are rock stars. I'm sure that most of the people are attending. Okay, I'm following on the cyberspace. Okay, hi all. So I think I don't know how much aware they are what you are doing. So let me start with you, Santi. Santi Aliaga is the CEO of Zirculary Foods. It's the new brand regarding to Buy Companies group. Zirculary Foods is an innovative development, production, and commercialization company of alternative protein-based products. Santi promotes circular food on behalf of the ownership of the Agri-food group Buy Companies since 2 years ago. Okay, Zirculary Foods, as an independent company of the Agri-food group, started his operation with distribution of Beyond Meat, Garden, Next, and other reference brands. Okay, today, in its latest generation and practically 100% sustainable facilities in Ceba, Osona. Ceba exists, not only happens in Barcelona, there's a lot of richness on our territory, okay, and it's an hour from the city of Barcelona, no? So more or less, okay. They produce cod, egg, veal, and chicken-flavored foods based on vegetable protein. It's the first company dedicated exclusively to alternative protein and to produce in Spain. So that's a lot of things that happen in Spain. I'm saying you tech transfer, deep tech, new opportunities, helping our industry to build from tech possibilities, and not only in digital food, and not only in digital health. In food, there are only interesting, fantastic things there. No? Santi Aliaga holds various degrees from Harvard, ESE, ESADE, among others. He's a master's professor at the University of Lleida. Thanks a lot, Santi, for joining us today on this conversation.
Thank you. Thank you, Oscar.
If you want to add anything to this
No, it's enough. It's enough.
Okay, fantastic. José Luis, this is your time. The market, the industry, rock stars, they're doing really interesting things. But you bring a different angle to the table, no? The angle of the investors. So José Luis Cabañero is the CEO of Eatable Adventures. Oh, well, it's not Ventures, it's Adventures. It's okay, interesting, okay? For more than 28 years, 28, wow. José Luis Cabañero worked in the innovation and new technology sector in multinational companies such as Cisco, Oracle, BBVA, and Unisys, leading development units for new markets and emerging sectors in EMEA and LATAM. With a degree in computer engineering from the University of Extremadura, he completed his technology and preparation with business and gastronomic studies at Stanford, Le Cordon Bleu, University of Reims, Champagne-Ardenne, and University of Berkeley. In 2015, together with Mila Barcárcel and José Di Sasa, so it means 6 years ago, he founded Eatable Adventures to launch collaboration models between the industry and the most promising startups generating innovation opportunities at high speed. I guess in the same, this digital food and all this altering protein.
Correct.
So it's really a pleasure to have you both today. I'm sure that we'll enjoy a lot this conversation. Do you want to add anything to this introduction?
It's enough.
This is my team who has shared me to share with the attendees. So let's go. Let's start the conversation. Okay. First of all, let's move to the left-hand side. Okay, Santi, please. What's circular foods? In why is innovation in food tech that is important for the company? Not only circular, biocompanions. What do you want to share with us regarding that?
Well, thank you, Oscar, and all the organization of the Congress. In order to our pleasure to be here. Circular Food pretends to be a very focused company based on alternative protein, and the reason why is because we are foreseeing that in the coming future, protein is going to be something exciting due to the fact that perhaps there's not going to be as today one main protein that is dominating the world. And when I say dominating the world, I see different scenarios and different theaters, okay? But we are expecting that animal protein is gonna perhaps have maintain each relevant position, but as well there are appearing new sources of protein, and also technology is helping these new sources of protein to make better and better products. And that affects protein, that affects ingredients, that affects all things. There are some companies around the world that are using technology in order to mimic the content of protein or the content of molecular structure of the food that we are used to consume with different sources of protein, okay? Trying to mimic meat with plants, okay? And that's exciting, and perhaps there have been, in the last years, there have been different types of protein, but technology is boosting this change, this is disruptive. And as you have said very well previously, food market is a market, it's a huge market. It's a market that every one of us are consuming each day 3-4 times. At least we hope every person in the country, in the world could eat at least as we are eating here, because we are privileged. And perhaps this technology and these new sources of protein could help us in order to solve the problem of poverty and these kind of things. So Circular Foods, I think it's a long-term company. It pretends to be quite a leader in this country, trying to be positioned in different pillars of alternative proteins like vegetal proteins or plant-based, insect, algae, cell-based proteins or fermentation, okay, where technology in all of these fields is quite important.
Okay, so thanks for your explanation, but I'm wondering, okay, in a leader company such as biocompanions, where you are serving lots of people worldwide, okay, why do you think that's not enough? And why do you think the innovation road for biocompanions is trying to investing in the future and food on demand, for example, why do you think it's the right moment to do that?
I think innovation has been a key issue in the last years in food as well as in other sectors, but mainly in food as well. But we have had a development of innovation in a long period of time. Okay, perhaps in this country we are really leaders in the world, providing meat to the world. But we have had a 60 years learning curve. But we have not this time right now, okay? Population is growing so fast. We are gonna have, in the next years, 11 billion of people in the world, and they have to eat every day. And perhaps the business model or the food sector that we have created around the world is not sufficient. Okay. So we have to boost it with new ingredients, new solutions, and technology is there in order to help us. And technology, as you may know, because you are centered in this field, could change exponentially the things. Okay. Wow. And for sure, it's not only technology applied to the food or applied to the protein. It's technology applied all the value chain of the processed food. Okay, it's trying to understand the consumer behavior. It's trying to be much more efficient in order to provide them the food that they are requiring. It's in order to make industries much more efficient, much more sustainable. So it's a holistic approach of technology, not only in food, but in the way we are providing food to the people.
Wow, interesting, no? How technology will improve people's life, no? Democratizing food. Coming to the right-hand side now. José Luis, please, talk us a little bit more, help us to know better what's Eatable Adventures, no?
Okay. So we created Eatable Adventures in 2015. The idea was born a little bit before that, in 2014. We have a lousy notion that the agri-food market will be affected by technology. So it was at the time, and it's still in large part, a market that is not really affected by technology, is late adopting technology. So this idea is now coming to be very, very obvious. It's starting to be on the table that technology is going to be helping to transform the agri-food system into a more sustainable one, more efficient, allowing a better use of resources to feed all this population that we have in the world, and the new population that will arrive in the coming years. So the market is right now showing the initial signs of disruption. How do you see that, or how do we see that? Basically, the large food corporations are declining in revenue, and they are normally maintaining their share at the market by acquiring new companies and acquiring new emerging entities. So the market as a whole is growing, and the growth is driven by innovation, is driven by startups, and it's coming in two flavors. One is products that are fit to market. They are meeting the consumer demands. The other one is technology that is basically helping to be more productive and to get a better development of the food market in the future. So Eatable Adventures is right now the largest innovation hub in the food system in Europe and Latin America. We are running a community that reaches over 25,000 entrepreneurs globally and generate roughly 1,500 projects per year. That is what we got last year. And we are running about 20 corporate programs in 8 countries and connecting really a lot of hundreds of startups with corporations. And the final angle is connecting with investors as well.
No one is listening to us now. How are the corporates' maturity regarding these points to think different, make different?
Well, we are funding very forward-looking companies like Zirculary, and I think that Zirculary is leading the pack globally, not even in Spain. Their vision about the need of add this type of products to the market is something that we see is really a luminary. So it's brilliant, their approach to market. Other corporations are faster in that route in specific areas, or slower, but the whole industry is basically defining how they can benefit with the startup collaboration, how they can acquire the external innovation. And ourselves, we are very concerned about how we can generate new innovation coming from universities and research centers. We believe that the market is, as you said, is huge. It's the largest market in the world, and the amount of technology that is needed and can be deployed is enormous. So we are constantly looking for additional alliances and additional programs that can help us to drive this innovation to market.
Fantastic. So you're connecting the dots. You are promoting this conversation on a global scale. Community, ecosystem is really the magic word. If you have different angles, they all happens. Okay, fantastic, really. And coming back again to you, Santi. Okay, you are very close to innovation. You are passionate about innovation now. How technologies will change and help us to implement our different things, thoughts. Regarding your relationship and also with Eatable, so mobile capital, why this is important for you to be very close to the startups, this ecosystem? Is this useful for you in this global scale, or not only digital? What do you think?
I think in our case, being quite near to the startups ecosystem and people that is working with them as the program of the Collider and also Eatable Adventures makes you to be out of your comfort zone. Okay, So it forces you to be aware of what is happening everywhere.
Sure.
Not just in Spain, but everywhere. Because as we have had with José Luis some experiences, there are so much talented people out there, and so much gifted people there with innovation ideas that perhaps some of them come out from the big corporates that they cannot achieve their dreams.
Sure.
So they want to make them to come true, and the illusion and the solution is to make their own startup and their own project and all their passion there. But this is okay, and it is necessary, and it is fabulous. But in some places and sometimes you need some help of corporates or companies in order to give the industrial approach, the economic approach, the customer centricity approach. Sure. Because you are in love with your project, but you have to need that the consumers are in love with your product. No? So that's a joint venture between startups and corporates, or startups and companies, trying to be very, very near from other people, that investors or perhaps accelerators, that, okay, here is the diamond that we have found, try to make it, to make some brilliant customization of it and try to bring it up, okay? And I think that startups are much more agile than corporates, for sure. There are much more speed companies, but in sometimes and very frequently they need the help of an industrial level distribution, just in order to take it from the beginning and try to elevate them. Sure. And try to boost them, and for sure you have to give them some advice on how the distribution, retail, food service, in case of food, is working everywhere. Yeah.
And in fact, I don't know if you agree with me, but we are aware of how we have relation with the technology, no? Instead of using technology to change a sector, what if we could join business needs with the technology possibilities to create disruptive solutions? The angle is completely different, and thanks to this angle, I think we should, why not, democratize the food to everyone. No? So it's so, José Luis, again to your side, okay? So, Eatable Adventurers, you are global, you promote these international ecosystem conversations. So, how is Spain? How is our ecosystem in terms of detect and transfer, in terms of maturity of corporates? I don't know, how, comparing to other territories, to other size, type of projects, what can you say about their ecosystem?
I think in general, we are very lucky. The ecosystem is super exciting, super good. The number, we published a report a few months ago, late last year, about food tech in Spain, and it's available on our webpage for anyone that wants to download it. We have about 450 startups in the country. If you take the whole end-to-end value chain, so we move from agriculture to food service. The type of startups is pivoting to agri-tech right now. It was more focused on food tech on food service in the beginning, but now it's pivoting to agri-tech, what is very exciting. And we believe that our country has a very strong root in agriculture. It's a large proportion of our GDP. So getting and helping that segment to improve and be more efficient is quite exciting. The ecosystem for us is, in terms of number of startups, is similar to other countries in Europe. UK is about 560, something like that. France is a little bit below, Germany a little bit over, but every country is more or less in the same range. When we speak with other governments in Asia, for example, in Singapore, they envy the Spanish ecosystem, what is something to be proud of. And we think that it's going to be bigger and it's going to be more solid. Our goal, and we believe this is something that we can really achieve, is to put Spain in the top 5 technology or food technology regions globally.
Good technology. In fact, for those who don't know, Spanish research is top 12 worldwide in knowledge. That raises. Market is ready. Investment are ready.
The market, I think, is ready. We are seeing pretty exciting things.
Santi is not the typical Spanish company. They're a global company. We're talking about more I am sure that Biocompines and Circular
No,
Food
but-
will bring an example to the table,
Yeah.
okay? But I'm talking not only about
Yeah.
Biocompines. It's a leader on that sector.
So beside Circular Foods, we're working with other corporations in Spain like Pascual, Mau San Miguel, Europastry, Campo Frio Food Group, with pretty exciting programs. For example, Pascual, they have launched the most advanced program in the world for biosynthetic dairy. And we have received calls from venture capitalists, investors, and industry organizations from all over the world.
Fantastic.
And literally China, Japan, Singapore, US market, Europe. Everybody is pretty excited about it. And for us, it's a demonstration that when you are bold and you really think that the market needs a change and you are ready to make that change, the program resounds all around the world. And that is pretty exciting.
Santi, you wanted to add anything to José Luis' points?
No, I think José Luis is always brilliant. No, I think that you will get surprised that in each point or in each sector of the agribusiness or food tech sector here in Spain, in each point there's at each point of the value chain there are some disruptions in food tech. Every company is focusing each business how to make it better with technology. You can go to Almeria or Murcia to the people that is raising fruit and vegetables, and they are doing. You can go to the meat sector and as well. So every company in each, it's trying to use technology in order to, first of all, make their process better, but technologies could allow us to disrupt products. And also, another thing very important is how the products arrive to the consumer, because there's here, and there's a very good article, and you can Google it, that it's called Totum Revolutum, how the food arrives to consumers.
Okay.
You have direct to consumers, you have global companies, like you have delivery, you have supermarkets, you have dark kitchens, so there's a huge market there in order to understand, in order to disrupt with technology. So first of all, in order to manage with which are the flows and which are the winning flows that are perhaps not in all locations, but for example, Barcelona is different from Madrid and other tier 2 cities here in the country. So technology could help us in order to make processes in food sector better, and also to understand better the consumer and trying to adapt the process.
Fantastic.
And the
This is
product
what the next question I wanted to ask you. Okay, if I'm not wrong, you recently launched with a big brand, if you want, a big retailer brand around fresh, frozen food, no? Fish and meat analogs based on vegetable protein, no? In production plant in Barcelona. So something that it seems is fish, but it's not fish, it's alternative protein, no? So I believe this starting point to democratize the food wherever you are, no? So how do you think this is the future? How this hesitation involving, I don't know, customer in the middle of this process will evolve? This will help?
I think the normal value chain that we are used to draw when we are talking about food is under a question mark. In every point is under a question mark. So the idea is, do I need this process to do the following one? Do I need an animal to feed the world? Do I need a machine, or do I need this knowledge? Or every point in the value chain is under some recurrent question of, may I do it better, or may I do it more efficiently? So, and this technology and innovation is going to drive the changes. And adding to what we previously were commenting regarding our country, I think we have two things that could justify the growth of the sector. Is that I think we are really good in technology, okay, in different spaces, and we really understand what food is, and we are leaders in the world in food.
Of course.
So we have to join these forces and try to make synergies, try to be efficient in the use of resources and money and efforts, and try to be precise in the direction in which the country is going to take.
Santi, I have a question about the future. How do you see our food sector? How do you see our ecosystem evolving? How to start and go on playing an important role in this global sector?
I think I see it changing for sure, but the change is it's going to be much more quicker every time. I see it digital, and I see it with something in your hands in order to consult, buy, recommend food or whatever, interconnected, okay, with also in the value chain and also with with your consumers. And I see it's exciting, okay, and I think the people that is working on food, that food has something that it's it makes you some dependency from the sector, okay? It engages you. So I'll try to encourage all the people regarding technology that there's a sector that always is there, that perhaps is not such a booming sector that could be other sectors based mainly in technology. But I think for the final then success of food and giving food to the population of this world, we have to be conscious that we need this technology, because if not, we are going to be not efficient and we cannot pay the price to be not efficient.
Wow. Technology to improve people's life, to permit the democratization of food. This is really fantastic, no? And what about you? How do you see what is needed in our ecosystem, Spanish sector, to try to go on playing an important role worldwide? What would you think it's important to go?
Well, I think the ecosystem needs to develop. It's still a very early stage. Startups and entrepreneurs are the core of our economic system globally. So we definitively think that to transform this market, we really need more startups and more innovation. You were commenting before about investment and pouring money into the system. That's an area that in Spain is still almost non-existent. So there are very few corporations that are investing and supporting startups. There are 2 or 3 venture funds that are supporting these companies. But definitively, we need to work to convince everyone that agri-food and food tech are basically investment assets, and that are investment assets with a very high return and very high potential with a global reach. So that's basically what we are putting all our effort in the last few months. That is showcasing that when you get the right company with the right technology, the right intellectual property set, investors appear, the valuations skyrocket dramatically. In our latest acceleration program, Spain Food Tech, the average increase in value has been 6.3 times in 6 months. Wow. Some of the companies has increased 15 times in 6 months their value, and we still believe that they are below the market. So if we get possibly the next Spanish food tech cohort, we expect to double those figures. And this is something that is feasible, because what we are doing is apply the technology that is being created at universities, startups, and so on. Frame them in a way, frame it in a model that is comparable to how startups are being developed in other countries. So automatically that attracts investors from all over the world. And we are literally getting calls from investors nearly everywhere. Yesterday we have Hong Kong, New York, London, Shanghai in the same day. So we are really starting to get a lot of visibility in our ecosystem, and that will attract more entrepreneurs, and we will get better companies out there.
Okay, so it's really fantastic not to have to start this conversation, because everything starts after this panel. Please, I'm sure that you know Y Campaigns. I don't know if you knew that the new trend of how technology would improve people's life in terms of democratizing food is about circular foods. So on the other side, from the investor side, not only investors, but not only investors, you're promoting this global conversation. We have an ecosystem ready, a good ecosystem in terms of startups, corporates, that example is a leader of this sector. They know that it's the right moment to go forward, to go beyond the meat, so beyond the food, if you permit, not only meat, apart from that. And it's really a pleasure to host you today. Thanks, Santi. Thanks, José Luis. I'm sure you have enjoyed. Please remind these names, and after this conversation, start doing more things, investing, of course, and trying to think different and make different. It's the right moment. It's a good example for that. Thanks a lot, and see you later. Okay? Bye-bye.
Thank you.